Mm. And morning also, I like to start the meditation on the kindness of mother, which we discussed yesterday, but we didn't have time to really take the time to do the meditation itself. So that is where I like to start. And again, those if there is anyone who is having any difficulties in um, trying to remember, trying to recollect um, kindness of mother, or if they have aversions, some kind of, if it disturb them and so forth, then they don't have to do that. They can change instead of mother to someone whom they can relate. Okay, even though I will be guiding and leading through the meditation on mother, but if anyone has some issue with that, and if it's kind of agitating, disturbing them, because they have totally different relationship, so they just exchange that to someone else where you can relate in that way. Okay, so that is something which I just wanted to make that part. Again, just make yourself comfortable, just relax, try to straight your back if possible. And feel the weight of your body on cushion, chair. Feel the surrounding. Let go of any tension that you have in your body. Let go of all the thoughts, any worries, any expectations. And mindfully observe your breath as you breathe in and out naturally. Then generate good intentions by thinking, may this practice meditations be cause and conditions for me to understand and feel loving kindness and compassion of all sentient beings, all mother sentient beings. Thereby allowing myself to feel loving kindness and compassion towards each and every living being. Again, gently bring back your attentions to the breath. And try to observe and have understanding, sense of feeling that our minds or consciousness is not exactly same as our brain and body. It is not a physical matter, but just pure awareness, experience, which has qualities of knowing the object. Also, each moment of those consciousness try to notice and see and feel each of them has preceding previous moment. And how each of those minds, thoughts has following next moment. There is continuity of those minds and thoughts all the time. Being that the case, the first moment of our feelings, thoughts, consciousness, and the conceptions must have preceding previous moments from past lives. And that consciousness also must have preceding, following past moment from another lifetime. So, with that analysis, try to have some sense of understanding, feeling, countless, beginningless lifetime. Also, our present mind consciousness will continue to follow and have next moment in next life, and next life again, countless future lives. Since our life is countless, beginningless, everyone, each of our lives, we have to have a mother, so all living beings, all sentient beings could have been our mothers, most kind, caring mothers. All of them must have been our most kind, caring mothers at one time. They have been most caring, kind mother at one time. Not only one time, each of them has been most caring, kind mother many times. And when they were our mothers, each of them had been incredible, caring, kind, loving, compassionate. So, by contemplating, recollecting, and so on, try to see we can feel that sense of love, caring, compassion, kindness. If that thought doesn't arise, don't worry. Whatever arises, thought, let it be. Just accept whatever thoughts comes. So we can see when they were our most caring mothers, while we were in the mother's womb, mother did everything best in terms of the way she eats, the way she moves, the way she do things, that it does not harm the baby. For 9 months, 10 months. carrying us as though it is more precious than her own life. Not eating a lot of things, not drinking a lot of things, even though she enjoy, when she found out it is not good for the baby. And not moving and shaking, running, so forth, even though she might enjoy doing those, once she knows it might not be good for the baby. Sacrificing so much of her own pleasure, comfort, happiness for the betterness of the child. At the time of birth, even though she might go through so much pain, especially later stages, before the birth, she is willing to go through those hardships, endure those hardships for the sake of the baby. When baby is giving birth, the child is given a birth, even though there was so much pain, there is no sense of complaint, blaming for the child. Instead, incredible joy, happiness to see the baby to see, to feel, to touch the baby. And she takes care of day and night with so much care, alertness, kindness. At that point, if she didn't pay enough attention, love, care, we could have died any moment, being by frozen. Or harming ourselves without knowing. When we came this world, We didn't know how to eat. We didn't know how to walk. We didn't know how to speak. We didn't know how to differentiate what is harmful to us, what object is harmful, what is beneficial, helpful. But our parent, grandparent, especially the mothers, teach us how to eat, how to stand, how to walk, how to speak, communicate. To show us what is harmful, danger to us, so that we don't hurt ourselves. With a lot of patience, compassion, love, and care. There's pure joy and happiness in her. Every time she notices we are making progress to be more independent ourselves. When she notices that we are able to walk, stand, so excited, so happy. When she notices that we are able to speak, communicate, and so on. Without a parent, grandparent, and so forth, especially mother, help, we will be waiting ourselves all the time. She cleans up, put us in diapers, all these things, without any sense of hesitations to the dirts, the pee, carcass, whatever. Not just one time, one day, weeks, months, years. She put us in the bed when we are tired. Make sure we go to sleep. She carries around even when she is tired, when you want them to carry us. being alert, and for us 24 hours in the middle of night. The moment we started to cry for whatever, she's there. She started to worry, concern about our lives, how to provide the best educations, how to provide the best things. Started to plan, think. Willing to work extra hours, sometimes even double shifts, so forth, in order to earn so that she can give better educations, better life to us. So she was there for us all the time when we were in the most vulnerable situation, when we were very young, didn't know anything. When we were unable to stand on our feet. When we needed the most time, she was always there. Throughout our life, when we were in always difficult problem, we knew our mom is there all the time to rely on, to fall back to. And she has always been there as much as she can, according to her capacity, with her own limitations. Whenever we ask for help, when we needed help. Even she is not physically with us all the time, her heart, her mind is always with us, always thinking of her child, concerned, worried about. She continue to be more concerned with our state than her own self a lot of the time. So try to recollect, if we can remember, recollect everything that our mother has done to ourselves. Out of her compassion, love, care. And try to feel that love, that kindness, that compassion, that careness that she has provided us, that she has shown us. Not only she has been so kind, compassionate, loving, caring this lifetime, many lifetimes, many times. In the past. Not only her, each and every sentient being, living being, has been such kind in our many lifetimes. Try to feel that. Try to feel that thankful, gratitude towards their kindness. And cultivate a strong wish to repay the kindness. And this is the best time to repay the kindness when we have this precious human life. We have the best potentials, ability to repay the kindness in this human life. And the best way to repay the kindness is not only to be able to help, contribute in reducing their immediate suffering, problems, but to be able to help them to overcome the very root of all the problems, all the sufferings, their own delusions, their own obscurations. not only to lead them to immediate temporary happiness, peace, but truly lasting happiness and peace or fully enlightened state. So generate a strong wish to free them from suffering and cause of suffering, all the delusions, and lead them to a fully enlightened state. To be able to do that in most skillful, most effective, most beneficial way, I must actualize my own full potential, fully enlightened state, fully awakened state as quick as possible. For that, I need to enhance and fully develop all those positive states of mind, all those realizations, through practice meditations. And actions. Therefore, I'm going to live my life in the most beneficial way, most healthy way, fully by working with my mind to enhance and develop all these positive qualities such as loving kindness, compassion, awakened mind, bodhichitta, wisdom, so forth, and trying to act out of those positive emotions through our speech, through our actions, in whatever way we can, according to our capacity, as much as we can. Then you can slowly dedicate the merit due to all the positive virtues, goodness that we have created. May each and every living beings, including oneself, be able to actualize, fully develop understanding and feeling of loving kindness of all sentient beings, and to develop loving kindness, compassion to each and every sentient beings, and gradually actualize our full potential, fully enlightened state. And be most beneficial, helpful to each and every sentient beings, day and night, all the time. Then you can slowly open your eyes and slowly move your body. So we do the bodhichitta prayers. Sangye chodang soge chonam la chanju padu dane kyapsuch dagi chöshe gebe sonam ke dola penje sangye dubash. Sangye chodang soge chonam la chanju padu dane kyapsuch dagi chöshe kebe so namgi lola penje sangye luba sho sangye chö dan sogi chonam la chanchu patu dani kyapsuchi dagi chöshe kebe so namgi lola penje sangye luba kange tuje ni sonne ta tamje pangbe che tambe chune tenje be godam de la cha cha. So far I think we have discussed the first 3 points of recognizing all sentient beings as mother sentient beings, remember the kindness, cultivating the remember the kindness and cultivating the right attitude to repair the kindness. And then, as we mentioned, that once we feel, as I mentioned as today and also as we did in meditations, once we feel someone's love, care, kindness, compassion, that just nourish our own loving kindness, compassion. It just automatically kind of same way, the way you felt, you started to feel same way back towards them. You started to feel sense of compassion, sense of loving kindness, sense of care back to them, so that it nourishes and it helps us to develop that loving kindness and compassion. And so therefore, doing that kind of meditation is very helpful. Very helpful. And so that is also why the 3 points explained before one practice on loving kindness and compassion itself. Because once you go through that, then it's easy to have loving kindness and compassion. I would like to kind of so the 4th point is loving kindness. Of course, loving kindness is a state of mind, strong wish, intentions to see happiness in others, to bring happiness in others. To see and to bring peace, joy, prosperity in oneself, in others. And of course, there can be many different levels of loving kindness. Also, there can be many different levels of compassion. And of course, we want to eventually, gradually, we want to be able to develop loving kindness and compassion where we are able to extend to each and every sentient beings without any discriminations. That is we want to reach that gradually, but it has to, we can't just, even though that is what we want to reach, we can't just reach there just like jumping. There's a gradual process, natural process, which happens slowly. without any discrimination, without being any bias to each and every sentient being, every living being, and very unconditional, totally unconditional, totally without any expectations in the back for our loving kindness, compassions, without any string attached. Again, that is the ideal state of loving kindness, compassion we want to reach. But again, as I said, to reach that, it takes time, practice, gradual. Maybe at the very beginning, we might have many expectations for our love, compassions, many conditions. Slowly, slowly, we learn to have less conditions, less expectations. That is improvement. It is not unconditional at the moment, not without any string attached, without any expectation, but less expectations, less conditions. Eventually, where you can have very little conditions, and eventually no condition at all, no expectation at all. So again, that is kind of internal process. You can't, at the moment, when we have full of conditions, full of expectations, by doing few sessions of meditations, few weeks, few months, few years, you can't expect you to have loving kindness, compassion without any expectation, without any. That's very unrealistic. And again, when you do that, then you are again putting yourself in problems because you have too much high expectation of yourself, your practice. It is going to be a disappointment. It is going to be a cause of disappointment. So through our practice over the year, if we start to have a little bit less conditions, that is progress. We have to see it. Than previously. Less expectations. Even you still have some expectation, still you still have some condition, but it was less condition, less expectation. We should see that as improvement. And not being, and so not, but at the same time, continue to work with ourselves to have even less and less, and gradually not to have any condition expectations. That is where we want to reach. Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to start so on this loving kindness with from His Holiness Dalai Lama. Right from the moment of our birth, we are under the care and kindness of our parents. Then later on in our life, when we are oppressed by sickness and become old, if we live up to that, we are again dependent on the kindness of others. At the very beginning, throughout our life, but especially at the very beginning when we are very vulnerable, and later part also when we are more vulnerable, where we are very dependent on others' kindness. Since at the beginning and the end of our lives, we are so dependent on others' kindness, how can it be that in the middle we neglected kindness towards others? So again, so therefore, the importance of cultivating loving kindness towards others. So, Buddha's teachings is basically based on loving kindness, compassion. All the Buddha's teachings is based on that foundations. Whether it's Theravada tradition, whether it's Mahayana traditions, whether it's Vajrayana traditions, whatever traditions, they all are based on that loving kindness and compassion. And the Buddha encouraged for us to cultivate and generate that loving kindness. Because not only loving kindness is beneficial for others, not only loving kindness is cause of harmony, peace to others, but also it is very beneficial for your own peace, for your own happy life, for your own more peaceful life, for your own more healthy life. So it is beneficial for oneself, it's beneficial for others. And now there are more and more research, scientific research, which have been done where there's more and more clear. There's more and more clear findings how meditation or loving kindness, compassions change our brain structures, or how it reduces the stress levels, how it makes our life much more healthy, how it makes us much more happy. And of course, without loving kindness, compassion, we are going to eat up each other. Anger and hatred, the fire, the wild fire of anger and hatred cannot be subdued, cannot be extinguished, cannot be destroyed by anger and hatred itself. It only fuels that anger and hatred. It only fuels, it's like throwing a kerosene into the fire. It only fuels that anger, that hatred, that violence. The only way to cool that anger and hatred, the only way to subdue that anger and hatred, the only way to transform that anger and hatred with is the opposite cooling energy of loving kindness and compassion. Only through loving kindness and compassion that we can subdue that anger and hatred of our own anger and hatred of others. It's only that can cool down that anger and hatred. That is the only thing that can transform that anger and hatred. So therefore, it's so crucial on bigger picture for the planet, for the world, for the country, society that we live in, as well as our individual well-being, goodness. Loving kindness help us to grow, to expand, to open our heart, our mind, so that our full potential can blossom, our full potential can actualize. On the other hand, anger, hatred, close down our mind, our heart. It makes our mind, heart very hard, like a rock, solid, kind of totally block yourself, block your potentials. It doesn't allow us to grow. It doesn't allow our mind, heart to grow, blossom. It's like there is a flower ready to sprout and blossom, and it's like putting a rock on top of that. That's what anger and hatred does. On the other hand, loving kindness is like that. There is the potential to blossom, the sprout ready to come, and is like adding a little bit more water, giving the warm energy, the sunlight, whatever is needed to fully grow and blossom. So and again, when we did that meditation, isn't it so soothing, so blissful, and joy, happiness when you feel the kindness of others, the care of others, the kindness, compassion, and love for others. Isn't it? It makes you so ease. It makes you so ease, so peaceful, so calming down. It makes you calm down, feel protected. Do you get it? We feel so protected when you feel that energy of that. Same way, on the other hand, when you feel the energy of someone's anger and hatred, it's just the opposite. When you feel the energy of anger and hatred of someone, you don't feel any protected. You feel very vulnerable. You feel very threatening. So when you feel very vulnerable, unprotected, very threatening, you started to have more fear, started to have distrust. And then that makes your mind agitated. So there's no more peace. Your mind, you cannot remain in that peaceful state anymore. You cannot remain in that calmness anymore. And it is very hard to have trust with that someone, with that person whom you feel that anger and hatred energy. Totally. So just as you feel that way, same thing when we are in that state of anger and hatred, people around us feel that energy and they feel the same way. Do you get it? Even I'm trying very hard not to be any aggressive with my speech and my actions. A lot of time we are not even capable of that, or unable to control that, our aggressions, the way we use our word, the way we use our physical expressions is not easy when we are in that state of mind. But sometimes we try hard and we have somehow able to manage it, not to, at least not to express in speech and actions. Still, when you have that anger and hatred, even when you try very hard, still the people around can sense it, feel it, that energy. And once you sense, they sense it, feel it, they feel that way, threatening, vulnerable, unprotected, and then it disturbs them. It disturbs them. It brings them pain, fear. Whereas loving kindness is just the opposite effect. Just the opposite effect, yes?
I'm thinking about this that you said about feeling all the hatred, and I can really recognize that within myself when I'm being met by anger and hatred, and that causes a lot of pain in me. Then how to, because I have been cultivating previously a lot of loving kindness and being a good Buddhist towards others, and I have had that throughout my whole life. But then I have been used by people and not having healthy boundaries because I missed out on having the loving kindness towards myself and giving myself loving kindness.
Mm-hmm.
So how to give oneself loving kindness and take care about, because we are all wounded people, so that I then in turn can give other people loving kindness.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I think I will be coming on that loving kindness, how to develop loving kindness with yourself, and then extend gradually towards others. That
and also that I internalize the aggression. I don't usually put it outwards. I put it in blame, put a lot of blame on myself. So it's a kind of inward hatred that I feel inward, which is very painful. And how to do with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think yeah, I will come on that. Okay, soon. The other things is that loving kindness is again state of minds. And while I have that loving kindness, feeling of loving kindness, compassion to someone, at the same time I can have physical boundaries. There is no contradiction in that. Okay? I can have true sense of loving kindness for someone, compassion for someone, but someone's energy is too aggressive, and I find very hard to deal with it. Right? I don't have the skills. I don't have the right qualities to deal with that. Physically, I should have some boundaries to that. But on emotional level, on mental level, I still care about that person. I still have concern about that person. I can still try to send my loving kindness energy through prayers, through whatever way I can, but there is physical boundaries. So that is where we have to. Loving kindness does not mean that you have to be physically kind of expose yourself in vulnerable situations. Yeah? Do you get it? It is very important to understand it's a state of mind. And it's necessary sometimes because there's too much violent, aggressive energy in that others where it's unhealthy for both of us, and both of us doesn't know how to handle it, and we don't have the real capacity to handle it. So therefore there should be some physical boundaries so that we don't fuel that energy more, because there is that energy, I cannot handle it, you cannot handle it, so therefore we started fueling each other more and more. Whereas if I keep the boundaries, at least we don't have to fuel each other's. But in terms of your inside, you don't have anger and hatred. Instead, you have a concern for them, sense of care for them, sense of love them. So therefore, there is no contradiction in that, to having that state of mind and to have that physical boundary, and it is very necessary in some cases. So then when we practice and meditate on, when we start practicing, meditating on loving kindness, many of the masters, many of the teachers will recommend us to start with cultivating, meditating on loving kindness to yourself first. Because if we don't have loving kindness to ourselves, if we are not gentle with ourselves, if we don't take care of ourselves, then it's very hard to have truly sense of loving kindness towards others, truly sense of caring for others, truly sense of being gentle towards others. We might kind of, sometimes what happens is, it's not truly kindness then, but like, because we feel something lacking, so in order to kind of fill that vacuum or that emptiness, we try kind of artificial way to be compassionate. Do you get it? A lot of time it happens like that. There is feeling of emptiness, there is feeling vacuum, because there is not feeling of loving kindness, compassion. So in order to kind of feel that, sometimes we fabricate our own loving kindness, compassion in a way, artificial way, to fulfill that, to feel that. And so in those cases is then when we become very vulnerable in that sense. It is hard for to have that boundaries.
You become a pleaser.
Yeah, then you try to please everyone instead of trying to understand what's best for all and what is best. It's not about pleasing someone, it's about what is the best. That means sometimes not pleasing them. You have to be tough. You have to take a decision where it's tough, because they will not be pleased with that. But you know that in the long term, it is best for themselves. So you take not based on whether they are pleased or not, it's based on what is best for them in long terms.
It's the idea of loving kindness. You're supposed to be gentle and nice and pleasant, and we have some kind of idea of how it should look like.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the gentleness inside, not necessarily in terms of your speech and your word, main gentleness from your heart. So in those kind of, there is gentleness in your heart. At the same time, sometimes it required, then you have to take a big hard decisions, which they will not like it. Maybe in long term, maybe they might like it. Short term, maybe they might not like it. Even some cases, in long term, they might never come to understand why you did that. But then that is not your problem. That is their problem. You did your best from your side. That is all it is. With auto-compassion, you try to smile, you try to say hi for someone. If they don't get it, they respond in a negative way, it's not your problem. It's their problem. What it was bothering them, what it was unable to see. So therefore, yeah, that is just a very small, simple example of what the smiling, that part. Of course, we try to, out of that loving kindness, that gentleness, we try to see what is the best beneficial way to help them in whatever capacity, skill, wisdom, ability we have at the moment, that at the moment in our accessible, which is accessible for us at the moment, because we still have limitations, and we have to accept that too. That is being kind to you, gentle to you.
That is very hard sometimes.
Yes, definitely. But that is why we have to kind of learn to do that. We have to practice, train, and learn to do that. We have to kind of learn, train, practice to let go of blaming game. Either we blame others or we blame ourselves. Blame. Either we blame others. If we don't blame others, then we blame ourselves. So again, that is not being compassion. That is not being loving kindness, gentle. Either you blame others or whether you blame yourself. Again, it is very important for us to, as I've been saying yesterday, and also not to pretend ourselves that we are Buddha now. Not to pretend we are now bodhisattvas and acting like we are bodhisattvas. That will be a problem. That is going to be a problem. You are trying to be someone when you are not. You can't uplift to that. We can't uplift to that expectations or that ideal, because you are not that. And trying to live all your life something which you are not is going to be a cause for a lot of disappointment, cause of being a bit hard on yourself. Thing is recognizing where we are now, who we are now, and to be able to accept that. Knowing that we can improve and there is a potential to improve, and we work hard to go in that directions. At the same time, at present moment, this is who you are, and you accept that, and you try to do according to your present capacity and present ability and present who you are. And I guess for a lot of people is that we have this ideal state, okay, of where we want to be, and then even though we are not there, we try to act as we are there, and so that is the problem. I think that is the big where then we become too self-criticism, too critical about oneself as well as others as well. You want yourself to live that someone which you are not, and you expect others also to be in that which they are not. Then you are disappointed with yourself, you are disappointed with others. And our life is full of disappointment. We already have full of disappointment, and we don't want to create more disappointment. And then you come to the Dharma, and you get these incredible ideas, what Bodhisattvas means, what Buddhas means, how they can act selflessly, unconditional, all these things. You get carried away by that idealistic views, and totally get lost with being in touch with who you are. Yes.
But is it not good to get some experience of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas? I think Vajrayana sometimes hear that you can act like a Buddha, get some kind of experience, then know that, oh, this it could feel like this to be, and I can have some idea that it will give enthusiasm and motivation. Or is it possible to have some kind of
Oh, that is absolutely, that is okay, that is fine. You give the possibility of being able to become a Buddha, the possibility to have some glimpse of experience that you can actually be a Bodhisattva, you can actually become a Buddha, you have potentials, and you have the intention to actualize those, but at the same time to be able to know and accept who you are now. That is knowing that I want to go from here. Let's say if I'm driving here, if I'm driving to some destiny, I know that I want to reach there. But while I'm driving, I have to know each moment where I'm now, instead of pretending I'm already there and acting as if I'm already in that places. So you know where you want to go, you know there is case, but each moment you are being present, moment where you are, but you continue your journey, your path towards that. So a lot of the time, whether you call obligations, you feel obligated, or we try to please everyone for whatever reasons. Different people can have different reasons why they want to please. But not necessarily from your heart that you really, but it is just like something. And so that can be cause of burnout, that can be cause of burnout, it can be cause of disappointment, it can be cause of resentment later. I've seen people, so many people, probably you have also seen many people, where they felt, I gave so much, I sacrificed my own happiness, all these things for, and they slowly they started becoming more resentful for themselves, for what they did, resentful for others. They started to feel maybe they took advantage of me. And all this.
Wasn't there an expectation from the beginning that you get the reward, but the other people, they don't respond on that way, and that's why it becomes a disappointment.
Definitely, that will be one of the definitely that will be one of the case. So again, as I was telling yesterday, instead of feeling that you are, when we are doing out of really that unconditional love, compassion, loving kindness, which we are trying to actualize, when we do out of that, then we don't feel that way, because we feel while you are doing for them is doing for yourself. You are not sacrificing your own happiness, your own goodness. You don't feel that way. But when we are artificially doing that, then we feel that I'm missing something for myself in the process of that. I'm not doing for myself, for my own happiness. And so gradually that can cause to have a resentment and then towards some unhealthy way. It can lead to unhealthy in that sense. So I think we will have a break. Yeah. So again, sometimes also we have this misunderstanding. Having loving kindness, compassion to yourself means uncompassion. Cherishing yourself means non-bodhicittas, non-bodhisattvas attitude. Those are some of the, I think, the mistaken conceptions. You have to cherish yourself to be able to cherish others as well. You have to be gentle to yourself in order to be gentle to others. You have to be loving kindness to you in order to have a loving kindness to others. You have to be a compassion to yourself in order to have compassion, to be compassion to others. But not overly. Overly cherishing yourself is the problem. Cherishing it yourself is not a problem. So, cherishing yourself, taking care of yourself is not a problem. Overly cherishing and taking care of yourself, overly on the expense of others' happiness, is the unhealthy one. Yes?
And this kind of having low self-esteem, it's also cherishing one's ego.
If you go deep, of course, it comes from overly cherishing. Because a lot of the case, people doesn't have that kind of low self-esteem when they are baby young. It is later part in their life when people started have the low self-esteem, and the problem is that driven by that a strong self-centeredness, overly self-cherishing thought. You are to accomplish something so badly, and with incredible high expectations. And when you fail to do that, when you are unable to fulfill that, then that leads to low self-esteem because you feel you are not worthy. You feel you are not worthy because you couldn't fulfill this part, or you couldn't accomplish this particular job or particular area that you wanted to do, and it led you to another kind of step because you want it so badly, and you want it so badly because of driven by that too high expectations, driven by too selfish or self-centeredness, clinging and that. So therefore, then that kind of lead to that kind of low self-esteem. So if someone doesn't have that strong clinging and that strong self-cherishing, not just self-cherishing, but strong that kind of overly self-cherishing, we fail. We are unable to fulfill certain things. We are unable to accomplish certain things. Because we are just ordinary human beings. We make mistakes. We don't have all the wisdom. Therefore, for me to fail in something, unable to fulfill some things, doesn't make me unworthy, doesn't make me feel I'm unworthy, useless. But problem is when we begin to kind of, similar to, I think also same is the same we are talking about when you are trying to be someone else in another way, and you are trying to fulfill those idealistic which you are not, and then you are not able to fulfill that, and so that can be again another so that is again yeah. So if you go much deeper level, it is coming from that overly self-cherishing thought and clinging. And so at least that is my belief. And as I contemplate more on that, I think it seems more and more that is the case.
Is it
Yes.
that we then are clinging to this constructed self, that we have the self that we have constructed, which is not our innate nature's deeper self? That
Yeah.
that we cling to this idea of who we are, who we think we are?
Oh, definitely that will be, yeah, the strong self-grasping ignorance, which of course also that can have many different different levels.
So the grasping of self, in this matter, you mean then the grasping of self, the self-grasping, is the grasping of the self, of the ego self? Because
Yeah.
we have our Buddha nature and our subtle self.
Mm-hmm. It is when it says self-grasping, it is the ignorance which grasps self which is not there. So as you put it, is like concrete self, kind of solid concrete self, kind of inherently existing self, when it's not inherently existence. So those, of course, there can be many layers of that. Each layer kind of at the most subtle level, there is grasping of inherently existence. Then on top of that, maybe there is grasping and clinging, not only inherently, permanently. On top of that, then there is other layers, which, as you say, our identity, who I am, I'm this and that, fixed idea about who I am and this and that. So we kind of put more layer and we believe that is the self. So it seems there are many different, within that there can be many different layers.
Who I need to be in according to get love and affection from my family. No, as a child, you always see to what kind of behavior is.
Yeah, that can be influenced from many different areas. It can be influenced from external. It can be influenced from our own internal, many different things. So anyway, so before, yeah, maybe that. So having a loving kindness to oneself, yeah, I mean, in generally speaking, of course, they are exceptional due to whatever, maybe their previous karma or due to whatever circumstances. But in general speaking, we treat others the way we treat ourselves. In generally, that is how it is. even though there can be some exceptional in some cases. I often see people who are very hardworking themselves expect others to work less hard. They get disappointed when they don't work as hard as them. They can't understand why, if I'm able to work that hard and doesn't get tired, why you shouldn't be able to do that. There is that, I often see some people, they have that passions and driven, whatever that is driving them to work so hard, and they are able to do and maybe less tiring for them. But then they expect their children and others to do just like that. And when they say they get tired, how can you get tired? How can you get tired? I don't get tired. I enjoy doing it. So that is how, and someone who is kind of more relaxed, and that they don't expect the others same like as hardworking. They are fine with that, being really bit relaxed, for example. They treat that way. And so that is general, if you see, is that is just a kind of small example of how we treat others, the way we treat ourselves. In a more natural, spontaneous way. Sometimes we fabricate artificial way. That is something else. Okay? That is not we are not treating them spontaneously, naturally from our side, but sometimes we just try to make things fabricate or artificial a little bit to look better or to feel better, and whatever those are. But in terms of natural kind of response, natural way that we, is very much the way we treat ourselves, the way we treat others, in general speaking. So with that, it also is kind of even sometime in I see even in sometimes even in teachers as well. Some of teachers, they are very relaxed themselves, and they are absolutely fine with the student being relaxed. And some of teachers, they are very very strong, and very strong is not the right word. Tense is not even the word. Strict, or maybe tight, but strict maybe. Maybe strict might be a better word. They are very strict with themselves and their practice as well as they expect other students to be also strict with that. So to some extent you can say that is again reflections of how you treat yourself. And so therefore it makes sense. It makes sense that we learn how to truly love ourselves. Not overly, how we learn how to be loving, kind to ourselves, caring, compassion to ourselves, gentle to ourselves. If we learn that, if we have that quality in ourselves, then that is naturally we respond in that way to others. That comes. Of course, for the artificial fabricate, it doesn't have to be that way. As I said, we can still do that, but the natural way of responding that way, definitely it is important in that way. So as we have been kind of discussing, having loving kindness to you means accepting who you are with all the faults, all the weakness, with all the shortcomings, all the limitations that we are, just accepting that. If we learn how to accept that in ourselves, also then we will learn others to accept others with full of faults, full of shortcoming, full of negativities, without much kind of critical, judgmental thoughts. Learning, accepting whoever they are. And because we have learned to accept who we are, as we are, and that will manifest in a way also when we also when we treat others in that way.
And then we don't get defensive as we are being met by criticism from others when we have accepted all of our defaults. Then we can agree with them when they criticize us for
Yes,
a certain way.
absolutely. If we really learn to do that, and if we really kind of accept that, then definitely it opens up a lot of others' goodness, many other realizations. Loving yourself, having loving kindness to yourself means being friend with yourself, befriending yourself. Yes.
I just feel it's very difficult with the word acceptance, because all we have been trained during whole lifetime that we need to improve ourselves. So, but of course not to be too judgmental, maybe that acknowledge the different sides one has.
Mm-hmm.
But to accept all the bad things also.
Acknowledging and accepting. We are accepting who we are now at the present, at the same time knowing we have potential as well. We have the potential to grow and become better, at the same time accepting where you are. It's like accepting a kid who is in kindergarten. He has the potential to be in the 10th grade university, but accepting that he is kindergarten, treating him as he is in kindergarten, not treating him as he is in university, that is going to be disaster. Putting a pressure and expecting something is almost impossible. And that is exactly what we do ourselves. Not being able to accept we are in kindergarten and thinking that we are in grade 10, and that can be a problem. So accepting being in kindergarten doesn't limit your potential to grow and your wish to grow. But you know that I'm in kindergarten, that is how much I can do, how much I can understand, or in grade 1, whatever that is. And so I don't think just accepting it limits your wish to grow, but just accepting where we are now and being knowing that situations. So anyway, and not being angry with yourself for not being yourself which you like to ideally want to be. Ideally, we all want to be perfect in every way. But we are not perfect at the moment. Instead of being angry with you for not being perfect, because you have potential to be a perfect, There is potential, but you are not perfect at the moment. You can be perfect eventually, hopefully, eventually, but not now. You are not perfect now, and you shouldn't be so angry not being perfect now.
I'm thinking of a Swedish word that I really like, and that's försoning. Anyone that can translate that? To försonas with one's life and with oneself. Försoning.
Conciliation. Something.
Conciliation. Instead of
Slags
accepterande. Yeah.
Men det betyder att man sluter fred med sig själv.
Make peace, come in peace with oneself, one's life.
Oh, that will be another word, or use being peace with yourself, with your life, where you are now.
What has happened and what not has happened.
So, yeah, so that is it. Accepting, being happy with that, peace with that, instead of being angry with yourself for not being yourself in the present moment, but for not being where you're idealistic, where you want to be.
Because you don't yell at a small child that is trying to walk.
Mm-hmm.
You support them and encourage them.
Yeah.
They can't run when they can't walk.
Yeah. So otherwise we will be angry with ourselves all the time until we become Buddha.
Sounds like.
The way I understand this, you do your best according to your accessible for your wisdom and compassion, whatever is accessible at the moment. That is the perfect at that moment. As you grow, maybe that was not perfect. As you have more access to more compassion, more wisdom, but learning to kind of move with step by step where you are, being happy with each step we take. So that is what it means. When we don't do that, that is where we beat up ourselves so badly. Beat up ourselves and disappointed with ourselves. All these things. Because, again, the same thing. You have this idealistic idea of who you are or you should be, and you can never live up to that expectations. And that means you constantly beat up yourself, constantly get disappointed with yourself. So, and then of course with that, then it leads to frustrations, anger, hatred, and in other cases, low self-esteem and so forth. So that is what it means. At the same time, also acknowledging, being aware, acknowledging, being aware of goodness in ourselves. Being aware, acknowledging that we have compassion nature. Nature of loving kindness by basic, on the basic nature. And we are not just kind of fabricating or kind of trying to make it to feel better. If we observe ourselves, it's clear when you see obvious pain and suffering to others, naturally you don't have to put any effort, a sense of wanting to do something, sense of wanting to help. Whether we follow the next step is different. Whether you actually help, that will be another stage. But when you see the pain, suffering, there is a sense of concern, sense of wanting to do something, that feeling. That feeling is there. We don't have to meditate. Naturally, when you see that suffering, pain there, that kind of feeling arises naturally. So we all have that, and that is our basic natural state. And then, of course, we kind of cover it with all kind of other informations, blankets of other information, why I shouldn't do that, this and that, and then we kind of, but we all have that basic nature, acknowledging, accepting, being aware of that. Acknowledging, accepting, knowing that we are compassion. Acknowledging, accepting, we have Buddha nature. Acknowledging, accepting that even though we might get bad feelings, bad emotions time to time, we are not that all the time. Those emotions doesn't arise all the time. We are not that emotions. Anger arises, absolutely. Hatred arises, absolutely, time to time. Resentment arises time to time, absolutely. That's fine, that's okay, it's natural. Definitely. But that is not who we are. I don't get resentful, angry, hatred 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yeah, 30 days a month, and all these things. That happens time to time when certain circumstances come together. So therefore, why should I be so beat up myself for some of those negative emotions when it arises due to certain cause and conditions, when you are not that? So accepting to kind of, when those emotions arises, of course, if there is any way we can stop from arising from the very beginning, that will be great. But somehow we are not mindful, awareness, whatever that is, sudden it arises. One is arises, just experience it, just observe it, just feel it. Well, I am in that state, and just kind of let it go. Learn, let it go. Instead of being, oh, I'm so bad because I couldn't stop this negative energy. Angry. I shouldn't be getting angry, but I'm angry. I must be bad practitioner. I must be bad Buddhist. I must be bad persons. All these things, you hang up there and beat up yourself. Is that going to change from the delusion which is already arising, from stopping the arising? It doesn't change. you make things worse by doing that. Instead of just learning to just experience that and just let it go.
I'm getting this picture of the ocean, and when there's a storm and high waves are coming, and when you said it, when it's a lot of things going on, causes and conditions, and when there are strong winds coming from all sides, then waves arises, and it's natural.
Mm-hmm.
And then they abide.
Yeah, then subsides, yeah. So it's just like if we learn how to, just as we are able to watch that ocean and wave like that, and if we know how to do that with our emotions and that, then we don't have to caught up ourselves in those negativity for long durations. And secondly, we don't have to beat up ourselves so badly for that and be so kind of anger and hateful for yourself. So again, learning how to be more gentle and compassionate to yourself in that way. And so acknowledging all this goodness and trying to acknowledge all the, even the slightest good things that you might have done, that good thoughts that arise in yourself time to time. I think we do have a good thoughts arising time to time, wanting to help your children, wanting to help your families, wanting to help your friends, wanting to help those who needs in, when you see in news, TV, when you see all this pain and that, and whether you actually really go into the actions to help or that is another, that would be another case, but still you do have that good the compassion feelings that you wish you could do something. You could change the situations. All these things arise naturally. Those are positive state mind. We don't acknowledge and we are not aware of those, and then you have one negative thoughts and you get caught up in that. And you begin to think, I'm so bad because I have that negative thoughts. And again, rewinding that again and again over the days and weeks and beating up yourself. And if we treat that way, again, we will be treating others like that way. Someone who has done so much good in their life and they do one small mistake, one bad things, we forget everything good things they have done. It's as though it doesn't count. One bad mistake or whatever that is, bad decision, mistake, whatever that is, one thing, and it totally kind of erases all the good things that he or she has done. That's not fair. That's not fair. That is not a correct, right.
How to balance this, because it's been so obvious for me that I have this black and white thing, that for a person to be doing a lot of good things and then doing negative things, and I can't get the two things together. It's like, is the person good or is the person bad? Or otherwise, I'm good. If he's good, then I'm bad. But I don't want to be bad, so I'm good and the other person is bad. It's this opposite, how to make it more...
Yeah, it is just accepting that as a person with good and bad. Everyone has their own strength and weakness. Everyone has their own shortcoming, and what it will be the opposite of goodness. What was strength? Yeah. To be able to accept that. And so there is, just as we do sometimes good things, sometimes we make mistakes, others will do also that. And so kind of, yes, if someone make mistake, accept kind of what you call, whether it's yourself or others, acknowledging that, and in the future if it can be fixed, thinking of how it can be fixed. But at the moment, kind of accepting that as let it go, and at the same time, not forgetting the good things they have done. Not forgetting that part. That's the thing. And same with yourself, same with your emotions. We have positive, many positive thoughts, positive emotions. So acknowledging those. And not only positive thoughts, we have acted those positive thoughts in actions in many different ways. You have been able to give your time, your expertise, your resources throughout your life to some people in your life. And many other good things that we have done, many things that we have achieved. Many things we have accomplished. Acknowledge those goodness as well. Remember that, reflect that. So we learn to do that ourselves. And slowly we also learn to do that with others as well. Wishing you a happiness, goodness in yourself. Not only others need to be happy and good and peace, you also need to be happy and good and peace. Because you are one of sentient beings. You are one of the sentient beings. Since you are one of the sentient beings, therefore you should wish yourself happy, peace, goodness, prosperity. It's not a wrong to wish happiness for yourself. It is not a wrong or against or contradictory the compassion bodhisattva way of life to wish yourself happiness. It's not a selfish to wish you happiness. Do you get it? Sometimes again we get this mistaken. If I wish myself happiness, I'm selfish. I can't be selfish. How can I be selfish? Selfish is when I wish worse for others and happiness just for myself. When I wish happiness for others, I wish happiness myself, that is not selfish. I'm wishing happiness for everyone. Win-win. Yeah. You are included in all the sentient beings. When we make those prayers, may all sentient beings be free from sufferings and cause them. May all sentient beings have happiness, cause happiness. You are included there. We are reciting that all the time. So to wish you happiness, to wish you be free from suffering, is not a selfish. So, wishing you yourself that. And we deserve to be happy, just as all sentient beings deserve to be happy. We deserve to be happy. Just as all sentient beings have right to be happy, we have right to be happy. Just as all sentient beings have the potential to be happy, truly happy, we also have potential to be truly happy. On the basis of that, then you try to, yeah. So that is how we meditate, contemplate, and try to generate sense of loving kindness to yourself. And of course, we can use word in our mind, different word, whatever you feel. May I be happy. May I find happiness. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I be free from all the harms, dangers. May I be free from all the unhealthy, negative thoughts. May I have a positive experiences, good experiences with all the realizations. May all my thoughts, emotions, feeling be transformed in, may I have those positive states, feeling, thoughts. May I have everything that I need to be truly happy, peace, calm, satisfied, so forth. So we can use those kind of whatever language, words that you can use in your mind. And especially if we are going through certain particular situation, you can actually insert those particular in that. For example, if you are going through a health issue, you can just repeat, may I have healthy. Or if you are angry with something with yourself, again emphasizing that, may I find a peace with myself. May I find an acceptance with myself. And so forth. And so, yeah. So I think before we do the meditations, I would like to kind of read a paragraph from Lama Yeshe, where he says, I think it is absolutely essential to us to have a loving kindness towards others. Of course, also one, because in order to have with others, first you need to have for yourself. There is no doubt about it. Loving kindness is the essence of bodhichitta, the attitude of bodhisattvas. It is the most comfortable path, the most comfortable meditations. There can be no philosophical, scientific, or psychological disagreement with this. With bodhicitta, or the loving kindness, there is no east-west conflict. The path is the most comfortable, most perfect, 100% uncomplicated one, free of any danger of leading people to extremes. Without bodhicitta, nothing works. And most of all, your meditation doesn't work and your realization doesn't come. So without the loving kindness, bodhicitta, then, so that is why it's important to cultivate loving kindness, compassion, bodhicitta in our life. Okay, so again we will do a short practice. Again, make yourself comfortable and relax. let go of all the thoughts, any disappointment, any expectations, any thoughts. Just try to let it go. And bring your attentions or awareness to the breath till you can calm down your mind. So, till you can be your awareness in the present, in the moment. Then generate good intentions, motivation. Think that may our meditations, the practice here, become a cause and conditions for us to generate and fully develop true love and kindness to oneself, to each and every sentient being. And may it be cause and conditions for us to actualize our full potential, fully enlightened state. And may it be cause and conditions to be most beneficial, helpful to each and every sentient being. Again, bring your attention back to the breath. So you try to get in touch with your feeling of loving kindness. You can think of someone whom you really care, who is most close in your life, dear. and generate a loving kindness toward that person. Somehow, if you are unable to generate that love immediately, don't worry. Whatever comes, whatever feelings arises, just experience it, accept it. Let it go without clinging or grasping. And try to follow as I describe next stages. So I can try to reconnect with that loving kindness. Pure joy of seeing happiness, goodness in your dear one. Now extend that feeling towards yourself. Try to be friend with yourself. Try to accept as you are, with whatever faults, shortcomings, limitations that we might have, you might have. It is okay to have those shortcomings. And we do have the potential to transform them gradually in futures. It's okay. There is no reasons to get upset, angry to yourself. For not living up to your idealistic way of thinking who you are. There's no reason to be upset and angry for not being the perfect. and you are the not only one. Also acknowledge all the goodness in yourself. All the good things, positive things that you have done in your life. Taking care of your children, parents, friends, colleagues, others who are in need. Recollect and acknowledge many of the positive thoughts, feelings that which arises naturally in our heart, time to time, a lot of the time. Also acknowledge there is the Buddha nature. The basic nature of ourself, yourself, is loving, compassion. Which has been obstructed by some of others. Negative emotions due to certain cause and conditions now. But basically, your nature is loving kindness, compassion. Wish yourself all the happiness and goodness. It's absolutely okay to have wish to be happy, peace, goodness in our life. and you deserve to be happy and have a right to be happy. And have potential to be happy and find peace. Then you can wish you with the words, praises, whatever praises word you might use. Such as, may I be happy. May I be safe. May I be healthy. May I be free from all the harms, dangers, all the problems. May I be free from all the anxiety, fears, worries, depressions, whatever state that we might have. May I find peace with myself. May I have all the confidence and courage that I need. May I have loving kindness, compassion to myself, to others. May I have all the wisdom and skillful means to take care of myself, others better. May I have everything that is needed to be truly happy, peace, and satisfied. May I have all the positive thoughts, emotions, feelings, all the realizations. And imagine your heart this warm energy of loving kindness. The energy which has the potential to heal. Warm, healing energy of loving kindness. It radiates and extends. Every part of your body and mind. Every part of the brain, every part of the cells. Every part of the smallest particles. Every part of your mind, emotions. Totally being healed. And your whole body is filled with, your whole body and mind is filled with great bliss, joy. Experience that great pure joy, blissfulness, joyfulness. Then you can dedicate the virtues to oneself and all sentient beings to actualize the realization of loving kindness, compassion, bodhichitta. Those who have already actualized, not diminish but increase more and more. May all sentient beings help each others, be benefit to each others by their true loving kindness, compassion, bodhichitta, all the time. Then you can slowly open your eyes, slowly move your body. So this one we did with yourself, but it's just then next step is expanding that same way, same feelings, wishing same things, starting with someone who is very close to you, someone who is very dear to you, where it is easy for you to feel that way. And then slowly you expand that to someone like stranger whom you might just see on the street. Neither with friend, neither you have any conflict. And gradually expand to someone you have conflict with whom you have difficulties. Whether you call it enemy or not, but someone you have not easy relationship, not easy difficulties. Again, wishing them same way, that they are just like ourselves, wanting to be happy and not wanting to suffer. They are just like them ourselves. When they are in good state of mind, when they are not disturbed by their delusions, they have no intention of harming anyone else. And due to their delusion, just like ourselves, sometimes we lose our mind and we make mistake. And we sometimes create some unpleasant, harmful actions. But fundamentally, we are not a bad person. Fundamentally, we are a good person. Fundamentally, we have compassion, loving kindness. Same, they also have fundamentally loving kindness. Due to whatever circumstances, external, internal circumstances, that fundamental nature of their loving kindness has been kind of blocked at the moment. They also deserve happiness. They also have right to be happy. And they also have potential to be happy. On the basis of that, then we try to send all these wishes for them to have all the happiness, all the goodness. And not only sending those, cultivating incredible joy and blissfulness in seeing them in that happy state, seeing them in that prosperity state, seeing them in that peaceful state. So, and then you extend to all sentient beings. So, you can do that in one session, or you can do in each session you do different. One session you do for yourself, next session you do for someone who is close, next session you do for the stranger, next session you do for the someone who have conflict, and the next session you do for all the sentient beings. Or you can do include in one session, which will be maybe too long. Or if you go fast, then you wouldn't be able to really feel it. So if you want to really take time to really feel it, then maybe one session with each will be better. So then we will have a break, lunch break. And again, like as today we meet, so it is almost 1:15, and so